bridge. Hand you the yellow mic? Is it? I think this might be dead. It's dead. It is dead. Where's Ryan? Well, good morning. How are you this morning? It's so good to see you. We don't have our usual voice coming to start our service, so that means I have to do it. Thank you so much for joining us.
You do have my beautiful voice.
Excuse me.
You can't stop the Word of God. No, we're just giving it a little bit of space and time so we can get some batteries in our microphone, because today is Easter, right? And we don't want to mess up our Easter celebration. Is that right? All right. And we want to thank everybody for joining us, no matter where you are in the world today. Whether you're watching us online or you're here in our fabulous campus in person and hugging and loving up on one another for Easter. This is a celebration with lots of music, lots of love, lots of enjoyment. And as always, I want to remind everybody to visit us at csldallas.org for all your inspirational content, uplifting music, and connection to our spiritual community. So, with that being said, now I think it's time for us to turn it over to our CSL Dallas music team. Can I get a hand and a round of applause?
my soul takes to the sky. It's the power, it's the presence, it's the love that moves me. Light and glory all around me. Souls on fire, souls on fire. Light of God guides my way. I see the truth and I am whole. The love of God fills my heart. The power of God burns in my soul. It's the power, it's the presence, it's the love that moves me. Light and glory all around me. Souls on fire, souls on fire. It's the power, it's the presence, it's the joy that moves me. Light and glory pouring through me as my soul takes to the sky. It's the power, it's the presence, it's the love that moves me. Light and glory all around me. Souls on fire, souls on fire. Light of God guides my way. I see the truth and I am whole. I am whole. God fills my heart. The power of God burns in my soul. In my soul. It's the power, it's the presence, it's the love that moves me. Light and glory all around me. Souls on fire, souls on fire, souls on fire. Souls on fire.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to play that song. I'm so sorry. I'm so excited about all the distortion, you know? One, two, ready.
May I hear your song, glimpse the divine. May my heart know your word and my tongue sing your name forever and ever and ever. I pray. May I hear your song, glimpse the divine. May my heart know your word and my tongue sing your name forever and ever and ever. I pray. May I hear your song, glimpse the divine. May my heart know your word and my tongue sing your name forever and ever and ever. I pray. May I hear your song, glimpse the divine.
Let us go within. As I breathe in the beautiful sounds of the voices, the instruments, I'm reminded of the beauty, the sacredness, the holiness of life, of this moment. And as we come together today, on this blessed day, Easter, also known as Resurrection Day, I call forth that divine that is within me, that divine that is in with each person under the sound of my voice, the divine that is within all of life. I call forth love, peace, joy, as we continue to paint a new reality, a new life, a new vision together. I call forth our individual creativity. I call forth our own expression as the divine to show up authentically and unapologetically. And most of all, I call forth unity, an acknowledgement and recognition of the oneness of all of life. And with the exhale, I let this go right here, right now. And we affirm it together by saying, and so it is.
Good morning, everyone. Oh, come on. Good morning, everyone. Yeah. Okay. Happy Easter. And good morning. Okay. So a couple things. Happy Easter to everyone, and so you know who I am, my name is Michael Brundy, and I have the pleasure of being the platform assistant today. And it's going to be a different kind of day. The first thing that you'll notice that's different is there's no podium, okay? That's the first thing I noticed. The other thing that you might notice is CSL, we're always trying to kick it up and do it different, just a little different, okay? So some of you guys been to those concerts or those big galas where they have people painting during the whole affair, and then they have this great big exhibit that they show afterwards? Well, that's what we're doing today. So, Linda Matthews and Valerie Guillaume, they will be painting a new picture throughout the service, and at the end of the service, we'll get a chance to see what they come up with. Now, they've never done this before publicly like this, so this is really reaching out. So expect something great because they're fantastic artists. We've got great artists around here, period. And another thing, too, Easter. Now, where I come from on Easter, that's one of the few Sundays a lot of people go to church. You know, they go to church like they're CEM members, Christmas, Easter, Mother's Day. Those are their big days. So I happen to notice that there's some people here that I don't regularly see, but they look like people that I do regularly see. So I'm guessing that there's some family members here, like maybe Brianna might be her mom sitting next to her. I don't know, but I see some people that, yeah, there's some family folks here. So if you're here with somebody and you're a family, we welcome you to CSL Dallas. We're glad you're here, and I hope you feel like you're at home. So let's get on with the announcements. Okay. First, though, we need to say our purpose statement. So our purpose here at CS Dallas is, say it with me, we're radically inclusive, spiritually progressive, transforming lives. Got it? Got it. Okay. So we've got a lot of our families and friends we've got a lot for our families and friends to come out and enjoy. First, with Joy Village, the playground, we're having a garden party. That's going to be this Saturday, April 23rd, from 2 o'clock to 4 p.m. Everyone is invited to help beautify our Joy Village playground so that our little ones have a place to be together outside behind our campus. We will be building a playhouse and a garden storage bench within the Joy Village playground. We encourage you to bring garden items such as flower pots or soil or any colorful additions that you can come up with that will bring life to our playground. Then imagine a creative thinking workshop. Imagine that. There are so many creative types represented at CSL Dallas. We have musicians, we've got artists, we have poets, we've got authors, writers, composers, game designers, and many more. Well, this is an opportunity to share our personal projects and brainstorm new ones together. It's an intentional space to express some ideas that you've been working on or things that you aspire to work on. So come out on Saturday, April 30th from 1 o'clock to 3 p.m. so that we can imagine everything together. Now, are you ready to learn the best spiritual technology that there is and put it into practice into your life? Yes? Yes? Okay. Well, the Art and Science of Spiritual Mind Treatment is a course developed and taught by Dr. Petra herself. Go beyond simple affirmations and materialistic use of the law of attraction and take your spiritual life and manifestation practice to a whole new level, okay? Now, if Petra's teaching a class, guys, it's going to take you to a whole new level, okay? Now, she's been teaching classes with me for a couple of decades. I used to be way down here. Now you can see how much further I'm standing. So I encourage you, when you hear about Petra having a class, it's going to take you to whole new levels, okay? So come learn the most powerful spiritual technology which can be used to create, to heal, and most importantly, to develop a deep experience of oneness with Source. Classes will be held in person and online Thursday starting May 5th, and there's both a daytime and an evening class. So you just go to csldallas.org for the specifics and register. Now, is that enough? Well, it's not enough for me because I've got one more, okay? I'm always excited about our musicians and all the artists that are around here, but today, I don't know if you guys noticed it, but we've got a special musician here, and that was Cornell playing the flute, okay? Now you guys may not know it, and you may not look like it, but Cornell and I are kind of like cousins. My mom and his aunt are neighbors and best of friends. So whenever I get a chance to hang out with Cornell, it means I get a chance to go back and tell Mom that, yeah, I was in church and I saw Cornell, and that's a good day. So with that, now I'm going to turn it over to Corby, and he's going to do a marvelous song by John Legend.
Legend. Reggae. 1, 2, reggae. How y'all feel about reggae? Time is getting harder and harder, more and more each day, yeah. But still I am determined that I'm never gonna change my way. Thinking about love the way it should be. We gotta open up our eyes and we will see about love the way it should be. You gotta make up your mind or we'll advance humanity. Humanity, humanity, humanity. What happened to the love that they all were talking about? Yeah. No, it's nothing but useless words coming from out of their mouths, talking about love the way it should be. You gotta open up the mind and you will see about love the way it should be. Let's open up our minds and we'll advance humanity. Humanity, humanity, humanity. Yeah. See what happened to the love that they all were talking about, yeah. Seems nothing but useless words coming up from all of their mouths, talking about love should be. We gotta open up our eyes and we can see about love the way it should be. We gotta open up our minds and we'll advance humanity. Humanity, humanity, humanity. Yeah, say it. Do you have the notion? Say, do you have the notion? Yeah. Say, do you have the notion? The motion of the ocean. Now, do you hear me, people? Yeah. See yourself now, let's, do you hear me out there? Yeah. I said, do you have the notion? Do you have the notion about love? About peace? About joy? About justice? Justice. Now, do you have the notion? Do you have the notion? Yeah, the notion. I'm talking about love the way it should be. Can we open up our eyes and we will see about love the way it should be? We'll open up our minds and we'll advance humanity. Humanity, humanity, humanity. Love the way it should be. We'll open up our minds and we'll advance humanity.
John Legend, thank you so much, and our fabulous band. And yeah, love the way it should be, right? Isn't that what there's such a deep strain in all spiritual traditions? Love is another name for God or the divine or the one infinite reality, and or that which we feel and sense about each other. And don't always practice, huh? Or don't always see it being practiced. Easter, so here we are on Easter. It's always an interesting conversation to have. First of all, I want to acknowledge that we had an amazing Seder dinner experience Friday night. Yes, the Jewish festival, the feast of Passover. I want to thank the ritual team and all of our readers. It was really an extraordinary event. And a reminder that these stories aren't just for ancient people. They aren't. We don't just tell these stories because it happened 2,000 or 3,000 years ago. We tell these stories because there is relevance for us today. The story of Passover is really the story of a people seeking to free themselves from bondage, from slavery, and to experience themselves for who they truly are. And the whole story of the Exodus is to have faith in the truth of who they really are. Humanity. And it's really extraordinary in the Seder dinner how much of that is a recognition that it isn't just for those people who cross the wilderness and search for the promised land, but it's about all of us who find ourselves in bondage or limitation, whether it is from tyranny, as we see in the wars around the world, or whether it is the bondage of our own thinking. And we explore in the Seder dinner liberation, freedom, not just for ourselves, but love and justice and peace for all people. And when all people are free, that is the vision. That's the vision of humanity. And so then we come to Easter, right? We are clear that Jesus was a Jewish rabbi, and he was celebrating the Passover Seder in the Last Supper. And we have the story of the crucifixion, the tomb, and the resurrection.
Many of us grew up with a strong focus on the crucifixion. And I apologize for my Germanic ancestors who made that shift in the late early 1500s during the Reformation. The first cross with Jesus hanging on it, with the crown of thorns and the blood on his side, the very first time that was ever made in an art piece was in a cathedral in Germany. Part of the Reformation. Why? Because Christianity and the state had become the power. And before that, the cross was always depicted with a triumphant Christ. Do you have an image of that? Have you ever seen it? The triumphant Christ in the robes and the crown, holding the globe and the scepter. The triumphant Christ. For 1,500 years on Easter, it wasn't the crucifixion. It wasn't sin, salvation, and redemption that was celebrated. It was the resurrection. Joseph Campbell says the crucifixion is the unshelling of a human being so that divinity can shine forth, so that the truth of who we are can be shown. And in the resurrection, we have the story of what it means to no longer be bound by a false sense of separation. Not only from our brothers and sisters who may seem so very different from us, but from the one infinite source of life itself. From the love and the peace and the joy that is the very truth of life, that is forever seeking to express itself through us, through creation, through sunsets and granddaughters and Easter eggs and all of the beauty. Despite hurricanes and lightning and war and greed and power, despite all of that, that is how love should be. And that is the vision that we hold. That's the vision that we are guided into on Easter. We might also remember that Easter, the Easter celebration, is a spring celebration, right? It is the first Sunday after the first full moon, after the vernal equinox, which would tell you that it's not a fixed date, but actually is a much older celebration, celebrating the rebirth, life after the winter, the seeming sense of loss, death, grief. All of those things that are real in the suffering of humanity. And when we are unshelled, unshackled from the bondage of our own past, our own traumas, and our belief that humanity is the lowest common denominator of us, when we are unshelled from that, we are resurrected into the truth of who we are, into the truth of who all people are, into the truth of what and who all of creation is. And we are resurrected into that new vision. And we become the force for that new vision. Joseph Campbell writes this: one must remember the central truth about Easter and Passover. We are called out of the house of bondage, even as the Jews were called out of their bondage in Egypt. We are called out of bondage in the way in which the moon throws off its shadow to emerge anew, in the way that life throws off its shadow of death. Easter and Passover have the same roots. We are called out of bondage to our old tradition. Easter is not Easter, and Passover is not Passover, unless they release us even from the traditions that give us these very feasts. To be released from the bondage of the belief that we are only human, merely human, stuck with human suffering, that there is nothing that we can or should be able to do. We are released from that when we are resurrected into the truth of our being. Love, the way it should be. The oneness, the recognition the compassion, the way it is that we seek to walk around in the world. Easter and Passover and so many religious traditions revolve around the feast. The feast, when we sit at the table. Marcus Borg talked of Jesus as being a revolutionary. He came to reform Judaism, to take it back to its roots, its deepest roots, just as New Thought has come to take Christianity and spirituality back to its deepest roots, to reform it out of an outer view of life, but a place to stand that is in alignment with the deepest truths, the deepest realities. And when we sit together in a feast, everybody is family, aren't they? Our feasts need to be a table that includes everyone. Jesus' stories and all the stories about him talk about his table. Women, tax collectors, outcasts, people who were not normally accepted, people who were not normally allowed, people who were not normally invited. The table that was laid was an open table. All were welcome. In the earliest Christian traditions, that was the hallmark of one who followed the way. Love, as it should be, and an open table. So we're going to pause for that beautiful musical inspiration from our ensemble, directed by Kirby. I'm going to invite our choir and ensemble and band to come forward. And they're going to be singing two beautiful songs, one called A Crowded Table, and another by Stevie Wonder as. And I just invite you to imagine this is what we're doing, painting a new picture of humanity. What if we lived from our best selves? What if we lived from our truest nature? What if we spoke and acted and invited and listened and from the deepest part of us, the truest part of us, the most authentic part of us? Our table would be so crowded, we would do nothing but celebrate in love.
One, two.
You can hold my hand when you need to let go. I can be a mountain when you're feeling valley low. I can be a street light showing you the way home. You can hold my hand when you need to let go. I want a house with a crowd us back together when the day is done. The door is always open, your picture's on my wall. Everyone's a little broken, and everyone belongs. Yeah, everyone belongs. I want a house with a crowded table and a place by the fire for everyone. Let us take on the world while we're young and able, and bring us back together when the day is done. And bring us back together when the day is done.
Now, it's possible you might know this next one. And if you do, I really want you to sing along. Highly encouraged. And if you want to get up out your seat, too, that's also acceptable. All right. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready. As around the sun, the earth knows she's revolving, and the rosebud's know to bloom in early May. Just as hate knows love's the cure, you can rest your mind assured that I'll be loving you always. As now can reveal the mystery of tomorrow, but in passing we'll grow older every day. Just as all is born is new, to know what I say is true, that I'll be loving you always.
Until the rainbow puts the stars out in the sky.
Always.
Until the ocean covers every mountain high.
Always.
Until the dolphin flies in heaven's in at sea.
Always.
Until we dream of life and life becomes a dream.
Did you know that true love asks for nothing? Her acceptance is the way we pay. Did you know that life has given love a guarantee to last through forever and another day? Just as time knew to move on since the beginning, and the seasons know exactly when to change. Just as kindness knows no shame, know that all your joy and pain, that I'll be loving you always.
Until the day
As today I'm living out, but tomorrow could make me the past, but that I mustn't fear. For I know deep in my mind, the love of me I've left behind, that I'll be loving you always. Always.
stars out in the sky, until the ocean covers every mountain high, until the darkest night never see that sea, until we dream of life and life becomes a
Wow.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Wow, wow. Yes, yes. It's Easter and we got Stevie Wonder. Yes. You see, love is the answer, isn't it? It's the answer to every question. And I'm not talking about romantic love. That's okay. But or the people that are blood relatives that are so close to you that you know that feeling inside that's like, oh, I love you, right? I'm talking about that greatest power that there is, that boundless love. Take that kind of love and let it irresistibly sweep through everything as that. I mean, everything as that. To you and 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 you. And it's like that kind of love everywhere. That's the answer. And to know and to hold that every single person in humanity, every sentient being has that kind of great experience as when we hold those loved ones, like, and you feel like you're going to burst. You know what that feels like? I know you do, because it's in each and every one of us, and it wants to burst. It wants to spring forth. It wants to be that alive as each of us. We have people in our lives that we absolutely want the best for them. And so allow that to sweep to everyone, to want the best for everyone. And when we hold that and we paint that kind of picture, then as we hold it and live it, it will change some of our choices and our decisions, because we want the best for everyone. It has to. Sometimes, I don't know about you, but sometimes there's that thought, well, why can't they focus on this and this and this and this? Why can't the politicians focus on this? And why can't the leaders in big corporations focus on this, right? Well, that's sort of like focusing on if you grew up with a not so, let's say, great father. This is just a hypothetical, okay? Not with me. But, you know, I grew up a father that was like this, right? Or I'm not making as much money as I want or whatever. That's like focusing on that. And that doesn't work. Focusing on, well, why don't they do something? Because what that does is it puts that outside of ourselves. And that's not how this works. Like Peter was saying, new thought, it's bringing it back. Where is it bringing back to? These ancient teachings. It's bringing it back to the within, the inside. So within, so without. As above, so below. So within, so without. That's where. It's inside our own minds. It's inside our own hearts. It's bringing that feeling like you want to burst with love inside our minds, inside our bodies, inside our heart. I'm very kinesthetic. That's how I have to stand. I want to feel the music. I'm kinesthetic, right? So however you bring that inside of yourself and bring that inside your own mind about the politicians and about the leaders in corporations, our elected officials from national to local and everybody in between, right? When we do that, when we bring that kind of vision inside of us, it's like when you decide to get a yellow VW bug. You start seeing it everywhere, don't you? Okay, I know you don't want a yellow VW bug, but it's like when I bring it inside of me, it starts to show up everywhere. I start to see it in more and more and more places. So as we bring it inside, we're actually doing the most powerful thing we can. We're making a shift. We're starting to shift and painting a new picture for humanity. And here's the rub. This is the challenge. We must do it before we see it. We must do this painting inside the artist. It may not be finished, but there's some idea held, right? You just don't start with nothing inside of you. We must do it inside of us, and we must hold that before we see it. Thomas Troward, one of the early folks in New Thought, right? A judge. Was always about, think of a judge, they're wanting to hear the case, they're wanting to prove the case, they're wanting to prove it and prove it over, like, okay, now I know what this is about, and I have my verdict, right? I know where I stand. So he talks like this, because he was a judge. He says, my mind is a center of divine operation. So our mind is the center of all of the divine operation. The divine operation is always for expansion and fuller expression, and this means the production of something beyond what has gone before. Something entirely new, not included in the past experience, though proceeding out of it by an orderly sequence of growth. He says, therefore, since the divine cannot change its inherent nature, it must operate in the same manner within me. Consequently, in my own special world, see, we each have our own special world, of which I am the center. Okay, let me just pause. I'm not saying the world revolves around you. What I'm saying, and he's saying, is all of the divine at the center of me, right? It will move forward to produce new conditions, always in advance of any that has gone before. That's the great news. So as we hold this thought of new humanity, the unity within the word humanity, and we paint this picture together, and we hold that, and hold that, and hold that. We must see it within ourselves before we will see it here. And some of us may not be here to see it, but any of us that see it within us and hold it and take a stand for it and not move from it, it's like everybody else that's done anything that then later you go, wow, thank goodness that person did that way back yonder, right? A lot of people haven't lived to see some incredible things, but if they hadn't have done it, we wouldn't have them. It's our time. If we're living and we're breathing, it is our time. No more time to waste. Even if we don't see it, we got to see it inside of ourselves now and hold it. No matter what we see, we still must go within and see that humanity, that world that works for all, whatever that picture is. And your picture's probably going to look different than mine, but I bet it's not two totally different things. There's similarities in it. Because we all are that one heart of the universe beating. And then, as we do that, we must move our feet. We can't just sit on the inside of ourselves. We must move our feet. We must speak. We must take actions. We must vote. All of it. And look for where it's already happening and watch that grow. Feed that fire. Feed that fire. Spread that. And be part of, we each can be part of this tidal wave of humanity awakening. And I tell you, it's already taking, if it hasn't with you, it now takes every spiritual tool we've got. That's a great reason to be in spiritual community, to be reminded of all of the spiritual tools that we can take. I'm just going to say, if you don't know the greatest spiritual technology there is, it is the one and only. That's it. The one and only unique thing that our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, brought to the planet is this spiritual technology. But he wasn't the first. The first is the man that is celebrated so much on this day. It's the way that Jesus prayed. That's the spiritual technology. Get up and walk. And if you want to learn that, take this woman's class, because I've learned how, and it's changed everything in my life and the life of everyone that I know and don't know. And I'm using that spiritual technology to paint a new picture for humanity. Every chance I get, I speak the word for good and more good in this world. Good must come of this. Good must come of Ukraine's war right now. Must. Not going to move off of it. If lives and all of the destruction is having to happen, then something new is breaking forth in the breakthrough of our new humanity. It must. Right? So you were handed something, and online you're given a link to something. You have the short version. I want to read this global vision. So when I read it, it won't totally sync up with yours. But this is a beautiful thing for you to put somewhere in your home every day. Say this out loud. Take a stand within you. Some of the phrases might really resonate more with you than others. What this is it's a global vision that Centers for Spiritual Living has been holding within each of us, inside of us, since at least 2010. If it was before, but 2000, all right? Peter was a part of this in 2000, before I even found Science of Mind. And we're talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people are holding this global vision inside of each of us. And we invite you to join in us in holding this, because we envision all people, all beings, and all life as expressions of God. We see a world in which each and every person lives in alignment with his or her or they highest spiritual principle, emphasizing unity with God and connection with each other. A world in which individually and collectively we are called to a higher state of consciousness and action. We envision humanity awakening to its spiritual magnificence and discovering the creative power of thought. A world in which each and every person discovers his, her, they own personal power and ability to create an individual life that works within a world that works for everyone. We envision a world in which we live and grow as one global family that respects and honors the interconnectedness of all life. A world where this kinship of all life prospers and connects through the guidance of spiritual wisdom and experience. We envision a world where personal responsibility joins with social conscience in every area of the political, corporate, academic, and social sectors, providing sustainable structures to further the emerging global consciousness. We envision a world where each and every person has enough food, a home, and a sense of belonging. A world of peace and harmony, enfranchisement, and justice. We envision a world in which resources are valued, cared for, and grown, and where there is generous and continuous sharing of these resources. We envision a worldwide culture in which forgiveness, whether for errors, injustices, or debts, is the norm. We envision a world that has renewed its emphasis on beauty, nature, and love through the resurgence of creativity, art, and aesthetics. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. And on this sacred holy day, combined with the previous holy days over this weekend of all of these world religions, I invite us, each of us, to hold this vision of a world that works for everyone. Hold on tight inside of you and don't let go to your last breath. See it, feel it, know it inside of yourself, because these seeds cannot be denied. These thoughts cannot be denied. They must come forth, because this is the way it works. And so we are a conglomerate of millions and millions of voices. I'm so grateful that each and every one of you are doing this great work and lending your voice, your consciousness, and your actions. Because since there's nowhere to go, we all get to see it, no matter when and where and what. And so it is. We're going to sing about the million voices.
This song is called A Million Voices, and it was the winner of the Eurovision competition in 2015, and it was, I believe, written by a Russian woman. We are the world's people, different but we're the same. We believe in the dream, praying for peace and healing, hope we can start again. We believe in the dream. So if you ever feel love is fading, together with the stars in the sky, we will sing, we will shine. When you hear the voices call, you won't be lonely anymore. Oh, a million voices. My heart is like a beating drum, burning brighter than the sun. Oh, a million voices. Now as the world is listening through cities and satellites, we believe
encourage each of you to be one of those million voices now. So, as we've painted a new vision of humanity, now is the time to share your love for this community and all that it does to help make a better world. And we do this through our financial giving. So as the greeters come forward, I want to encourage you all to give, especially on this Easter Sunday. And those of you online know that there's all sorts of ways that you can give. You can text give, you can go to csldallas.org/donate and give, or you can even use that little QR thing that we've got out there. So there are a number of different ways to give. So let me tell you what else is going on around here. As they pass, greeters, go ahead and pass the baskets. Oh, don't we have to do an abundance thing? Yeah. We're not going to do that today? Okay, well, we're going to do it like this. A, we're grateful, give a lot. How's that? Okay. So we have a community creative jam, okay? We're calling all creative types. Let's celebrate you and your talent. On April 29th, it's your time to shine. Come share your new poem, your song, or an excerpt from a book, whatever you have, you name it. Just sign up in Pankey Hall after our celebration. Now we have Pause for Peace. We're going to walk the labyrinth and plant peace with every step. So join the CSL Dallas Labyrinth Walk, participating in collective consciousness of thousands of walkers around the globe who will be walking each year on May 7th. This year we'll be walking for peace from noon until 6 p.m. You can drop in at any time when you walk the labyrinth, okay? And childcare will be provided. And also on May 7th, you can join CSL Dallas's picnic. While the Labyrinth Walk is taking place, we encourage everyone to also participate in our Sacred Service Ministry picnic. We will be hosting a potluck-style picnic at Farmers Branch Park from noon to 2 p.m. Does everybody know where Farmers Branch Park is? Because I don't. But I bet Google does, and I bet your GPS will get you there also. So everyone is invited and welcome to the fun. Bring a side dish, salads, or desserts. Will be shared with all, and plan to have fun with your fellow CSL Dallas community folks. Be sure to join us next Sunday as we will be painting a new picture of the Earth, celebrating Earth Day. Join us next Sunday as we launch our Force for Good initiatives and share the 17 sustainable goals from the UN and how we at CSL Dallas are taking them up and what more we can do together to paint a new picture of the Earth as a whole. As an extension on next Sunday, we invite you to also join a CSL Dallas book discussion, Be a Force for Good. Are you worried about climate change and wondering what you can do to make a difference in the world? Well, join CSL Dallas Core Council member Georgine Moss, who's right over there, in a 4-week discussion of Dr. Catherine Hayhoe's new national bestseller on Monday evenings starting May 2nd. These weekly discussions will be held online, okay? Now, we've been talking about how creative we are around here, so now is the time to remind you first of, make sure that you drop in Pankey Hall because we have our artist gallery there, and Jeff Rogalski, I think I saw Jeff. Yeah, there's Jeff. He's got some fantastic artwork in there, so you guys make sure you drop in there and see it. It's not stuff that you see everywhere. You only see it where Jeff's at, so you need to really go see it. And we have our artists right here, so now's the time to see what Valerie and Linda have come up with. Show us your way. There you go.
Here, can we just give her the white mic? Perfect. Thank you, Michael.
Hey, what came to me was we're connected through love. So I put a background hard on and then built onto that. And then I see all of us dancing and holding each other and working together to make life a better place here. Here is just loving, just hugging and holding each other and caring. Over here we have prayer treatment, working together to create, a clarity of mind in prayer. Here's the children learning and trying new things and experimenting together. Here's the Science of Mind book, Ernest Holmes, represented by the book here. And down here is our meditating together, meditation hall, Wednesday nights. Yeah, and so it's going to dry, and I think it'll be done.
Yay, yay. Thank you, Val. It's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Linda, tell us about you and yours and what's going on with yours.
Well, what's happening is Easter lilies that I purchased so that I could do the drawing for this, and then I wanted the darkness to express the flowers. So, and I lost my drawing, so I'm ad-libbing.
Right? Isn't that what we're all doing? Linda and Val, I already have a mic. Linda and Val, we want to thank you so much for really, really putting yourself out here and making beautiful, beautiful new painting, new picture for humanity. Thank you so much.
Some of you may not be able to see, but if you really come up close, especially and check out Valerie's painting, you'll see that she has a picture of me over there in the corner. Okay. Hey, for any of you parents that are here, now's the time for you to go to Joy Village to pick up your children for the Easter egg hunt, okay? When you get to Joy Village, they'll give you instructions on where to go and what to do and all that kind of stuff. And enjoy yourself, and I hope the kids have a good time with the Easter eggs. Now, don't forget to get a spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer with one of our licensed spiritual coaches. And for those of you here on the campus today, you can do that across the breezeway in the prayer room. And if you're not here on campus, then just go on, and you're online, well, you'll see that there's a place that you can link, and you find a licensed spiritual coach by clicking on that link. That's it. I think that we got it all in. Happy Easter to everyone. Make it a great day. And now let's stand up and sing this celebration out, singing Celebrate the Light.